Alright, good morning everybody. How is everyone today? Hello and welcome to the stream. Welcome to the pre-stream. I am here on time. I didn't know if I was going to be. I'm not gonna lie, pretty stressed out right now. I will explain everything that's going on in a moment. Last night, late at night, I tweeted that I might not be here in time for the stream this morning. I didn't know what was gonna happen. And it was for good reason. I will explain what's going on in a moment. But I welcome you all here to the streams. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're ready for a full day of streaming fun. Double new release fun today. With the continuing playthrough of 12 minutes here on the early stream. What's funny is, for a game called 12 minutes, right? You would think the game maybe isn't that long as you can figure out the things going on in the mystery of this murder. You would think, oh, it's not a big deal. You'll be able to figure it out if you get the right combination of clues or things going on. It'll probably be a short game. Well, I played it for about 3 hours, and I don't even know if we're getting close to the end or resolution or not. What I will tell you is, essentially, I've gotten to the point where a lot of stuff has been revealed. And I actually did get to a scenario where it ended. A scenario where basically you kind of just let the hitman do whatever he wants to your wife, including murdering her. And then basically there's a whole frame job of that she killed herself. And, and then it kind of says, oh, you're a coward. You get 80 achievement points for doing it. But then the day still resets, and that's not what you're supposed to do. For anyone who ever saw the movie Groundhog Day, okay, Bill Murray is forced to relive the same day over and over and over until he gets it perfect. He gets it perfectly right. When he gets it perfectly right, then he is allowed to continue on with his life, and he wakes up to a new day the next day. Okay? So, interesting, because I'm 3 hours in, and I'm like, I really don't know what that outcome even is. Like, what outcome am I trying to do? Am I trying to stop the hitman? Well, I've done that. I've had it to the point where I murdered the hitman. That's not the right outcome. Do you have your wife get punished for apparently murdering her dad 8 years earlier? No. Apparently that's not the proper outcome. Okay? So I actually don't know what the end game is of the game. You see, like, what are we trying to do in the game? I honestly don't know. So I guess we'll have to try to figure this out together. What is the end game? I have a few ideas of what to do next. Like, for example, we have the phone number of the sick daughter of the killer. And I'm thinking maybe we can, at some point, call the daughter and say something that will either help or trigger something, I'm not sure. Or maybe we can do something with the hitman when he's kind of knocked out. Can we do something to make him talk? Because I've been trying to figure this out, and all I've done is I can hold him down, and you keep trying to make him talk, he doesn't really do anything. Or you could kill him. But maybe you could do something else. Maybe instead of killing him, you can target another body part. Like, maybe you can actually target his foot or something and cause him pain, and then he won't be able to get up and chase you around because you incapacitated him, right? And then maybe he'll work with you or talk. I don't know. I honestly don't know what to do next. We have options to try. But this is an incredibly unique game in that regard, that you really don't know what you're going for. What is the end game goal? I don't know. And how do you get to that, right? How long is the game? How long does it take to actually beat 12 minutes? How many scenarios are there? I don't know. So I'm definitely interested in trying to figure this out today. All right? What I'm hoping is, here's what I'm hoping. We figure out enough that there's concrete progress, and we have fun doing it. Discovery, new things about the plot, new things you can do. All right? And essentially have a good time together, because what I'm worried about with a game like this, admittedly, what if we have 2 hours where I can't make any progress? I can't figure a damn thing out. I try a million scenarios and nothing does anything to advance the plot, right? And I am a little nervous about that. I am a streamer. I'm trying to entertain an audience, you guys. I want you to be just as entertained as I am. And if we're going through the same loop over and over and we can't figure out anything to make progress, that could definitely definitely be frustrating. Okay? So let's see what happens today. It's a unique game. It's something completely refreshing and different. And by the way, I will publicly apologize again for the fact that YouTube screwed up the other day. You know, I played this on release day, Thursday, and uploaded the videos to DSPGaming here on YouTube immediately, right? Just like I always do. And the videos didn't work right. My pre-stream never processed. Part 1 of the playthrough never processed properly, so no one could watch it. You know, it was time for my second stream, and people were like, Phil, what happened? Where's the videos? We're dying to see this new game. And I was like, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened. YouTube screwed up. So I had to re-upload the videos later in the day, but of course that immediately frustrated some people. I wouldn't be surprised if some people went and watched the playthrough somewhere else because they wanted to see the game right away, and I couldn't post it up because YouTube screwed up. It is what it is. I'm used to YouTube issues. It's just very frustrating on day 1 of a new, unique game like this. That is screwed up like that, and then everyone basically had to wait. I'm sorry for that. Obviously, I'm frustrated just like you guys. I want everyone to be able to watch as soon as possible, you know? And it's frustrating when something is out of your hands like that and kind of screws you over. All right, but it is what it is. The videos are live as of now. I did re-upload them. And so if you need to get caught up on the playthrough, you absolutely can. And we will advance more today. Okay? Excuse me. And by the way, as you can't tell, my throat is all gunked up today. Not that I have bad post-nasal drip, but my throat is bothering me today. So, apologies if you keep hearing me clear my throat and cough a little bit. Okay? Alright. Now, later tonight on the late stream at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Time, it is the continuation of Hades. Game that I've now been playing only a few sessions. I think I played it, what, 2 sessions or something over the last week? I really like the game. I think it's incredibly good, way better than Returnal ever was. It basically does right what Returnal did wrong. Every time I play it, I advance. Last time around, I got to the final boss. But what people are telling me is once you beat the final boss, that's not the end of the game. You keep playing it, and the game just has more and more content and more story unlocked, so it's worth it to keep playing. So I am going to. I like the game so far. I'm playing it at a casual pace, meaning no, I'm not treating it like a mainstream new release, because the game has been out for a year. You know, most people played this on PC last year or the Switch and already, you know, been there, done that. But for me, I'm enjoying it as a very first-time experience, and I will be having it in the schedule at least 1 to 2 times a week when I can squeeze it in there. All right? So tonight, Hades, 2 hours of gameplay fun. I hope you'll join me for that 6:45 p.m. Pacific Time. Tomorrow, Sunday, we're going to continue on with the Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island DLC, which I started up yesterday. And I had a ton of fun with it. Although, admittedly, I was very, very rusty. I couldn't really remember the combat system that well. By the end of the stream, arguably, I was starting to kind of remember how the free flow of it works, going between the stances and using the rage meter abilities. And the one thing I really haven't gotten yet is stealth, which sucks because stealth is some of the best stuff in that game, and I wasn't really doing stealth very well. But I think the further in we get, the better I'll get. Reports are it's around 15 hours long, and we're about 3 hours in, so we still got a good amount of gameplay left in the DLC. The plot so far is good, and man, the graphics on PlayStation 5, if you did not see me play this yesterday, this game is impressive. Gorgeous visuals. I mean, not to say the original game wasn't gorgeous, but those same gorgeous visuals now in 60 frames per second and with added detail and added lighting effects. Holy shit. The game looks amazing. Okay? So I had a very good time with that yesterday, and I'm looking forward to continuing it tomorrow. Tomorrow night will be my weekly Microsoft Flight Simulator stream, where we take off and go to world locations for some cool aerial views. We're going to be going to Buenos Aires, Argentina, because the top contributor of last week requested that. After that, we're going to try to do either Disneyland or Disney World and Universal Studios and maybe other theme parks, you know, either in California or Florida, see what those look like from the sky, because those are going to look pretty unique, I'm sure. And then we're going to be doing Seattle, which you guys have literally been requesting since the moment I started playing the game. Yes, we're finally going to check out Seattle tomorrow night, so it should be some fun and notable stuff in Flight Simulator tomorrow. I hope you'll join me for that. On Monday, we're doing things a little bit differently. We're going to swing back to Fallout New Vegas. And at this time, after I finish, I think we got like one more side content plot I might want to do. We're going to start up the Lonesome Road DLC. And the Lonesome Road DLC is the final one in the game, and I don't remember it at all. Like, seriously, I can't even remember anything about it. It very well may be when I start playing it, I will remember, but I can't remember anything about this DLC. So this is basically the final major thing to do in the game before the conclusion of my Fallout New Vegas playthrough. So I'm excited to start it up on Monday, and I hope you guys will join me for that. Okay? Then on Monday night, likely it'll be more Hades, but I'm kind of leaving Monday night open. If you guys, maybe, let's say for example today we get a good amount into 12 minutes, but we don't really, finish it or anything, then maybe Monday night we'll do a late night stream of 12 minutes, all right? I'm not sure, but that's going to be my final stream of the week. On Tuesday, it's my day off from streaming, all right? This next week is going to be pretty exciting because on Wednesday when I come back, it's the premiere of Psychonauts 2. Yeah, Psychonauts 2 actually premieres on Wednesday on Microsoft Game Pass. So we're going to give it a look, a game that's been in development for the longest freaking time, seriously, like over a decade, I believe, right? So that'll be interesting. And we'll go from there. This week will be a combination of Psychonauts 2, 12 minutes if we haven't beaten it yet, more of the Ghost of Tsushima DLC, more Flight Sim, all this stuff is going to be continuing. Hades, all new content, and I'm excited, man. This is going to be a good end of the month for sure, with all this new stuff going on. Okay? Why is chat not moving? Chat is moving. People are talking. If the chat is not moving for you, it might be something wrong on your end. Chat is definitely moving here. I see a lot of people responding. Some people are basically saying, don't dox yourself flying over Seattle and look out for hipsters. Mythical says, why are decade-old games in the rotation? Because we're still trying to finish a summer playthrough. That was a viewer's choice, and we're very near the end at this point. So, I don't know. Chat's moving for me. Okay. So that's the deal, what's going on. Now, also, I'd like to get you guys caught up with what's going on here on the streams with this new hats that were added to the rotation this week. Okay? Yesterday was an incredibly confusing day for me. Allow me to explain. So this week, I added 4 new hats to the rotation of when I hit my tips goal on a stream. Okay? Allow me to show you. So, the 2 new hats so far that you guys have seen are this military style hat and the digital camo hat. These are the 2 that you guys have seen. And at this point now, I've worn each of these twice on stream. Okay? Since Wednesday, when I came back from break and I said, hey, there's going to be 4 new hats that I'm going to wear on stream if we hit the tips goals. Okay? Now, you may be confused because you say, Phil, you said you have 4 new hats. Why have you worn the same 2 hats twice? What's with the other 2 hats? Good question. I have 2 other hats. All right? One I've described as camo, and one I have described as white. Okay? They're surprises. I'm not going to reveal them until finally they're chosen to be worn on stream. We have hit the tips goal. In fact, yesterday we hit the tips goal on both streams. And we had polls, and people voted for the old hats that people already saw, the military and the digital. Now, listen, I like the hats. I'm okay with that. But there's some people who are admittedly upset. They're like, we're hitting the tips goals, and then people are voting for the hats we already know. Why would they not vote for one of the new hats we haven't seen yet? Right? I don't know. I don't know. I can't answer that question because I'm not the one in charge here. So it seems to me people are now upset because last night when this happened on the Street Fighter stream, people were like, man, this is ridiculous. This is bullshit. I tipped. I wanted to see a new hat. Now we don't have one. So here's the deal. Here's what we're going to do. The next time we hit the tips goal, you have to pick between one of the 2 new hats. Period. I'm not putting other hats into the rotation. I'm just going to make it a decision between the 2 hats. Okay? Then, the next time we hit the tips goal, you will see the final hat. Okay? So we may hit the tips goal today of $150. We may not. If we do, you will get to see one of the new hats. Guaranteed. Okay? And then the next time we hit the tips goal, you'll see the final new hat. Guaranteed. Then you'll know what they all are. Okay? And then we'll be able to have a rotation where every time we hit a tips goal, we'll have a poll to determine what you guys really want, and we'll go from there. Alright? That's what we're going to do. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that sounds fair. Some people were very upset last night that we didn't have a new hat. I'm like, I was trying to be fair and do a poll and have the people choose. And then people were pissed at me. I'm like, well, I didn't vote, you know? So that's how we're doing it, okay? So if you have no idea what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen, I'm an independent content creator. I don't have any sponsorships or partnerships at all. And that means that I make my living via crowdfunding during my streams. That is my source of income, all right? In regards to that, there are many ways that you can contribute and support my streams. You can become a channel member here on YouTube. If you join the channel, you get many benefits, including getting a highlighted name in chat, getting a chat crown badge next to your name in chat to show how long you've been a supporter. You get access to all of my emotes. Currently, there's 19 and growing. The more members we get, the more we unlock. And you don't have to abide by the slow mode rules of the chat. There's currently a rule that you can only talk every 10 seconds to stop spam. You don't have to listen to that if you are a member of the channel. So there's many benefits to becoming a member. Please consider doing so if you have not yet. And if we get 275 concurrent members by the end of this month, we're going to be doing a special celebratory marathon in September. I'm not sure what it could be, but it could be something like an Indies marathon or a retrospective marathon event where we look back at the past and I do commentary on old videos I've done. Or hell, we could even do another Game Pass marathon because you guys liked the last one so much. Okay? Pretty cool. Please consider becoming a member if you have not, all right? Another way you can contribute to the channel is by doing a super chat or a super sticker. By doing those things via YouTube, you can actually get a highlighted message in the chat during the stream, and I will give you a live shout out if you become a member or if you do a super chat or super sticker, as long as you abide by the channel rules, meaning nothing insulting, nothing massively derailing to the stream, not trying to get into fights and things with other people, bringing up, you know, politics and stuff. None of that stuff, you know. Keep that off my gameplay stream. Everyone knows that you have to have some common sense, but I think most people get the gist of it, all right? Now, the third and final way that you can contribute, okay? And the way that is most preferred is by tipping me. If you tip me during the live stream today, I will give you a shout out, and that helps me more than the other methods because I get those funds immediately to put towards important things like bills and the like, okay? Just being honest here, when you tip me, that helps me out tremendously. Since tipping helps me more than anything else, I have put reward tiers in effect as a way of saying thank you to those who go above and beyond and tip me during a stream. So if we raise $50 in tips, I'll put on gunner glasses. If we raise $100 in tips, we'll have a poll for a vest. And today, the vest eligible are as follows. The red, the platinum, the blue. Wait a minute. Okay, we're totally resetting today. So today would be the beige, the blue, the red, and the platinum. That's actually the ones that are eligible today. Those four. Okay? So that's if we hit $100 in tips on the stream today. Okay? Now, if we hit the full goal of $150, as I've already explained, then we will have a poll where you guys will choose between the two new hats, either camo or white. Again, I want to emphasize, those are code words. Those are not representative of the colors of the hat. I don't want someone to get the wrong impression. You pick one, and then I put it on. You're like, oh, that's not what he said it was. They're not representative of the colors of the hat. Okay? To try to clarify that up front. So, let's see what happens today. I appreciate all contributions and support. Thank you guys in advance. Really, thank you so much to anyone who contributes today, but tips are preferred. How do you tip? Well, you can look at the description of the stream right now, or you can type !tip into the stream chat. Either way will bring up a link that will allow you to tip via that link. All right, guys? Fair enough? All right, now, let's get to it. So here's the deal. Here's what's stressing us out here, and it's not good, but at the same time, it's a part of life. There's not much you can do about it. All right? So, last night, it's late. Kat and I are relaxing in the living room. You know, Kat had a stressful day at work, got home during my late stream, and usually what we do is we relax in the living room, watch some TV or something, listen to some music, maybe have a snack before she takes a shower, and then we go to bed. Well, we're relaxing in the living room, and we're looking around, and we're like, where's Jasper? He's usually here with us relaxing. He's usually right here, no problems, you know, always laying on the couch or on the floor, you know, playing with us. We're like, where is he going? All right, where the heck is he? We're looking all over the house for the guy. Where the hell is he? Finally, we find him in the litter box. Okay, he's just using the bathroom, but it seems like he's been gone for a while, right? So, basically, we relax a little more, and Jasper's like walking back and then disappears again. Where's Jasper? Okay, we go look for him. He's in the litter box again. I'm like, uh-oh. Well, see, guys, you don't know this because I haven't really talked about it publicly, but we've kind of been through this before with Jasper. Basically what happens is, with cats, especially male cats in particular, they can get some issues down below. Let's put it that way. And one of the issues that they tend to get is what's called a urinary tract infection. With a male cat in particular, sometimes if they pee, they overclean or overgroom, which leads to irritation and inflammation down there. And then, if it keeps up because the cat feels like it needs to keep cleaning itself, all right, the cat basically will have to feel like it has to use the bathroom all the time, even when it doesn't have to, okay? This has happened to Jasper before, and when it happened the last time, which was a while ago, over a year ago, we didn't know what it was at the time. Being that, likely, I say likely, being that we are relatively, it's the word I was looking for, new cat owners. I mean, we've had Jasper now for, over a couple of years, but at the same time, we're not lifelong cat owners that are versed on all issues a cat can have, okay? Last time he had this, we didn't know what was going on. We didn't know if he was just over grooming for some odd reason. We didn't know if there was a reason for it. We didn't necessarily recognize the symptoms of what he was doing. And he had it, I'd argue, he probably had it for about a week to a week and a half. And then he started using the bathroom all over the house. I mean, one day, he's in the litter box, comes out, with looking very upset, ran into the middle of our kitchen, and proceeded to take a dump in the middle of our kitchen mat. For no reason, supposedly, but the truth is, here's what happens, because now we know what happens with cats. We looked into it, we researched it. When a cat has a urinary tract infection, okay, it always feels like it has to use the bathroom. Then it overgrooms, and its private parts essentially hurt. When it tries to use the bathroom in the litter box, which is where it's supposed to go, and nothing happens, it thinks there's something wrong with that scenario. It thinks the litter box doesn't work, or what is wrong? I'm not supposed to be in here. Maybe there's something else that will trigger me to use the bathroom. So the cat will then go elsewhere and try to use the bathroom in other places normally it should not, in order to just see if it can go. All right? So what happened was, at one point, Jasper was actually afraid of using the litter box because he was in pain, and he didn't want to use it because he associated pain with the litter box, so he would try to use the bathroom all over the house until he finally took a dump in the middle of our kitchen floor. We're like, something's definitely wrong. At that point, we took him to the vet, and the vet said, oh, okay, it's a urinary tract infection. Here's some antibiotics. Put this in his food for like a week, and he'll be fine. We did, and he was fine. Okay? Now, that was a while ago. That was over a year ago. So, fast forward to last night. Now, Jasper is having basically the same issues. So, he's now saying, okay, I can't go in the litter box, so I'm going to try to go other places. So, he's trying to go right outside the litter box. You know what I mean? He can't go because he doesn't have to go. He just feels like he has to. And he doesn't know any better. He doesn't know what to do. So then he grooms himself, which is just going to exacerbate the problem, because the more you groom an agitated private region, the worse it gets agitated. A cat's tongue is like sandpaper. A cat's tongue has a bunch of these little prickly things on it. So when a cat grooms, essentially it's pricking itself. Now imagine doing that to your nuts, right? So last night was not good because we were trying to get Jasper to fall asleep, and he just kept trying to pee everywhere. He didn't have to. So finally he did pass out, and when he passed out, and this is another thing that we know he's not feeling good. When he passed out, he stayed asleep the whole night without moving. That's not Jasper at all. Jasper usually will get up, walk around a bit. He's the one to try to wake us up in the morning, and that was not the case. He was zonked, okay? But now, he woke up this morning, he's doing exactly the same thing. Listen to this, okay? Just listen to this. He basically is trying to use the bathroom everywhere and can't. So I was making a breakfast. I was making a microwave burrito for breakfast. I took a paper plate, I put it down on the countertop as the burrito was microwaving, and I went to make a coffee. I walk away, I come back, I shit you not, Jasper is squatting on the paper plate on the countertop trying to use the bathroom. Because to him, in his mind, okay? He can't, there's something wrong with the litter box. I've got to figure out what's going on. Let me try to go to the bathroom every possible way. All right? And he can't figure it out, Then I opened the pantry, and he ran into the pantry and tried to use the bathroom in the corner of the pantry. So he's been doing this all morning. He's literally trying to run around the house and use the bathroom everywhere because in his mind, I'm going to find the perfect spot where I can go. He doesn't understand he doesn't need to go. You see? So the reason that we're stressed out is, number one, this was happening last night. And number two, of course, in the middle of the night, you can't call a vet. We actually tried to make an online appointment. And here's another problem, which many of you may not realize. If you have pets, you should listen up. And if you live in the United States. So here's what's going on. As you know, the last year, COVID happened. Okay? When COVID happened, essentially everyone out there ran out and bought pets. Why? You want to know the truth? Because they're irresponsible. People were bored and stuck at home and felt, oh, we're going to make a life decision and buy a pet. The problem with that is people don't realize they're now committed to taking care of that life in the long term. This is not a COVID fad where you go buy a dog, a cat, a rabbit, a hamster, a lizard, a bird, and now you just take care of it during COVID, but when things get back to normal, oh, well, I'll just get rid of it. That's not how it works, but that's how people treated it. So you had a ton of people stuck at home who ran out there and made irresponsible decisions, and now what we have is a situation where tons of people have pets, don't know how to take care of them, and at least here in Washington, the vets have been slammed over the last 6 months with people bringing pets in sick because they didn't know what the fuck they were doing. Okay? Pretty stupid. Now, obviously, we try to be very responsible cat parents, and we try to stay on top of these issues with Jasper. We're very happy that we identified this was happening last night, because before last night, this was not happening. This was the first time it was happening, and since this has happened before, we were able to identify it. Oh, it's happening again. We got to get him to the vet right away. But here's the problem. No vets will take him for several days. We tried doing the online appointment. They said the earliest they would take him was September 7th. That's over 2 weeks away. It's not healthy for a cat to have a urinary tract infection and try to use the bathroom all over the house for 2 weeks. That's incredibly unhealthy to the point where he can get permanent damage or get sick and die if you let him go with it for that long. Okay? So what I needed to do is I needed to start calling around vets this morning. And I did, and I finally, after calling around, I found a vet. They're willing to take him on Tuesday, which is what they call an emergency drop-off visit. So here's how it works. It's not technically an appointment, all right? They're already booked all week. But what they're going to allow me to do is come in early in the morning, around 9 a.m., and drop off Jasper in a carrier. And essentially, they're going to put him to the side until they have a break in the action during all their appointments during the day. And they're going to see him, when they can. Obviously, they're going to diagnose his urinary tract infection. And then they're going to give him the meds. And they're going to call me and say, hey, come pick him up. Okay? So, it sucks because I would like to get him in there today. They said, absolutely not. We can't do it today. We can't do it tomorrow. We can't do it Monday. The earliest we can do it is on Tuesday. So, I'm actually going there the moment they open in the morning. I'm bringing him in to get him in there, so that we can get the medicine for him, and then we'll pick him up during the day. Luckily, Tuesday is my day off, so I'll be able to pick him up during the day whenever he's available. We'll fly over there, and we'll grab him, and then we'll get him home and immediately get him on the meds. Because last time, it took about a week. Basically, every day for a week, what we did is he has these treats of what it is. It's just mousse of different ingredients, and he likes different ones. There's one that's like a chicken puree. There's one the one he really likes is salmon or tuna. He loves fish. So what we do is we get this puree treat, and you take the medicine. It's very milky, a milky liquid, and you just use the syringe to inject it into his mousse treat, and you mix it up, and he just licks it right out of a plate or a bowl. Unbeknownst to him, he doesn't even know there's medicine in there. And this is what I did last time, and he got better within about a week. So, yeah, and it sucks because the only thing other thing we could do is what's considered an animal emergency care visit, like walk him into an actual emergency room for a pet. But being that he's not really an emergency, he's not bleeding, you know what I mean? He's not deathly ill. He just happened. Number one, it would be pretty irresponsible to be taking the attention of people who actually need to treat pets that are probably in death risking situations. You know what I'm saying? Not what's the word I'm thinking of? You go to the emergency room because your life is at risk. That's what I don't know why I couldn't say that. I was saying it backwards. Okay, so essentially, unless he's in a situation where this has been ongoing and he's getting really severe symptoms, it's not considered an emergency situation. That's what the vet told us too when I called. He's like, well, this just started happening. I was like, yeah, we just noticed it last night. And they're like, well, technically it's not an emergency situation, so we're going to do the drop-off visit technique, okay? Life-threatening. Yeah, why the hell couldn't I think of that, Kagame? Life-threatening. Right. If he had a broken leg, if he was bleeding, you know what I'm saying? Then you can bring him into the emergency, but they're basically saying they're not going to allow him to do that. He has to do this drop-off visit, which sucks. I wanted to get him in there today, but at the same time, I kind of understand. Yes, there's going to be pets that are going to be going in with real emergencies that need to see a doctor immediately for a life or death situation. Now, I don't want to take up a spot of one of those pets. Of course, I love Jasper to death, and I want him to get better as soon as possible. So, this is going to be a stressful weekend, you know, to say the least. And you're absolutely right, HoboX. He says if it's an obstruction, it's considered an emergency. Keep an eye out if he can't pee at all anymore. Right. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep an eye on it. We're going to see what happens over the next couple of days. If he gets really bad, then we can always take him to the emergency room. But right now, it's just a situation where you can tell he's annoyed, he's upset, he doesn't know why he can't pee because he doesn't have to. It just feels like he does. And he's doing exactly the same thing that he basically did over a year ago when he had it the first time. And like I said back then, I feel worse now than I did last year because the first time he had it, I didn't know what it was. You know, we never had experience with a cat with a urinary tract infection before. So not knowing what it was, we thought maybe he's just over grooming. Maybe this is a bad cat behavior. Maybe he's acting out because he's upset about something. Like, we didn't know what was going on. We actually had called a vet a couple times to talk to a vet about it before we took him into the vet because we thought maybe there's something in the environment that would actually be like making him upset or angry. You know? So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Golden Coach, you didn't know that? There absolutely is. There's emergency rooms for dogs and cats and stuff like that. We see them all the time. There's quite a few of them around us, actually. Out here in Washington State, pets are huge. Pets are incredibly popular out here. Almost everyone has, like, a dog or a cat or some kind of a pet. Seriously, like, it's huge out here. It's incredibly common. So I know, for a fact, I know 2 of them that are, like, within a couple miles from my house that I've seen that you can just go to. But we're going to see what happens. You know, going off the advice of the vet, we got the appointment set for Tuesday. Hopefully, Jasper does not get worse between then and now, you know. And if he does, we'll have to go to an emergency. But if he stays the same, or hopefully feels better, we're just going to take him in on Tuesday. Well, I'm going to take him in as soon as I can Tuesday morning. They said they open at like 8:30, so I'm going to try to get there between 8:30 and 9. And I'm going to try to drop him off, and hopefully he'll get the medicine right away. You know, we'll be in the area. The thing is, we're already going to be in the area during the day. We're not going to go anywhere else. We're going to be in the area of the vet. So that way, if the vet calls and says, oh, he's ready, we'll go get him right away, bring him home, get him his medicine, and get him feeling better. So. I mean, oh, I see you may be right or maybe not. He says, if you remember the past couple of days, he's been acting a little weird, like sitting in my chair. But the thing is, that's a normal act for him. With Jasper, he loves to do the stuff that I do. Like I've explained to you guys, reading books and stuff about cats, Jasper is considered a social cat. He's considered, they call it a mojito kitty. What that means is he wants to be the life of the party. He always wants to be up in the stuff that the humans are doing. If we're cooking, he wants to be in the kitchen with us while we're cooking. If we're sitting on the couch, he wants to be with us on the couch. And if I get up, he wants to be where I just was. So I'll be sitting on the couch, get up, and he'll sit down where I was just sitting. That's kind of what he does. Now, in regards to this new office chair, he has been very apprehensive because he doesn't know what it is. You know, this is a new object in the house to him that he's not used to. It doesn't necessarily have the scent of the house or him yet. So he's been very, very careful about going around it. Just recently, these past few days, he started sitting in the chair when I'm done streaming here. Okay? So, that I don't really think that was related to it. Although maybe it was, but I don't think so. I think that's just him being himself. But definitely last night it kicked into overdrive when he was, going to the bathroom a million times or trying to go to the bathroom a million times. See, at first we thought, oh man, could it be something wrong with his litter box? Is it dirty? And we looked, it wasn't super clean, but it also wasn't super dirty. So we actually changed out his litter box completely just so he'd be happy. And when we did, he went right back in there. And we thought, oh, maybe we solved the problem, but we didn't. We definitely didn't. Okay? So, his sucks. Having a sick pet sucks. It really does. Having a sick pet absolutely sucks ass. Especially when you can't really do anything immediately to help the pet. Pets are like your kids. They really are. They're not human, but they're definitely another life that you're responsible for taking care of. You love that pet as if it were your own, and there's nothing you can do in certain situations. This is a situation, it's not considered an emergency unless his condition deteriorates. No one's going to want to see him on an emergency basis because, it's not life-threatening yet. If this lasted a week or two and he didn't get treated, it could be life-threatening. But this is just obviously day one, the early stages of it, and the earliest we can get him in there is Tuesday, which sucks ass. I wanted to get him in here today if I could, but because the vets are so backed up around here, there's nothing we can do about it, man. There's absolutely nothing you can do, man. And yes, I'm aware, already people in the chat, oh, you can do this, you can do that, you can do this. We're aware. We're going to consider trying to do so, because now this is the first time he got it over a year ago. We didn't know what it was. It was random. It was unexpected. It definitely was shocking, because like, damn, how did he get it? This is a clean house. Everything's good. It's not like it's a pigsty house and we don't take care of our pets. We do. Absolutely. Jasper's well taken care of. But then we do research, and even the vet told us, they said, no, male cats are tendent to get this. It's a male cat in particular, because a male cat, well, I guess when they're grooming, they could actually lick their private parts dead on. You know what I'm saying? Like, they have external private parts. So they can tend to over-groom and actually irritate and make the situation worse more often because they're males. And so there are males that this happens every once in a while. It's just gonna keep happening. But you're right. There's things you can do. You can actually get like food that supposedly is better for the urinary tract and doesn't have this issue. Yeah, it is what it is. It sucks. I feel like shit. I do. Like, I'm stressed and I feel like shit. Seeing Jasper walk around the house and meowing to me because he wants help and I can't immediately do something to help him. And seeing him try to pee all over the house when he doesn't have to because he doesn't know what's going on. It's painful for a pet parent to see a pet go through something like that. At least he's not in threat of his life, thank God. But still, it's not a good time, man. And I feel terrible right now. Like, all day, I'm going to be streaming, but I'm going to be thinking about him out there. And by the way, I have to say this. He has to stay outside the office for now. Because if I open that door, he will be all over the office trying to pee on everything. And obviously, we can't have that. Especially, he already causes mischief. Now imagine him trying to bite wires, pee, and do all this stuff. So he has to basically stay outside. And what we're doing is we're trying to close off areas of the house where we think he might try to use the bathroom in places that aren't good. Like, we closed the bathrooms off. Cat's office door we closed. Basically, we're keeping the common areas of the house open. Like downstairs, the upstairs bedroom. That stuff we left open for him. And obviously, he has the litter box to go in. But the last thing you want to do is have everything open. And now he's going everywhere trying to pee in weird places and everything. I just got to do what's best for him. So Christoph says, I had a cat with the same problems. I give him Hill's CD urinary care, and he doesn't have the problem anymore. Is that what is that? Is that some kind of supplement, or is that actually a kind of food? We're going to have to probably look into this at this point. What sucks is he really likes the cat food he eats. It's called, I think it's called Crave, and he likes this particular flavor, salmon. It's his favorite. If we give him wet food, he won't eat it. He'll only lick the wet food and not actually eat the chunks of meat in the wet food. If we give him pate, he won't eat it at all. He just likes dry food. That's what he likes to eat. So we give him what he likes, and the one that we give him is incredibly low grain, no fillers. Like, you know what I mean? It's all high protein. What a cat really needs. It's actually considered healthy food for a cat. But it is what it is. Since he's now having these issues, we might have to change his diet or look into changing his diet. It sucks. Oh, man. Hill CD is a prescription cat food. Oh, okay. Does he get varied types of foods? We like to try to give him variety. He won't eat it. We've tried a lot of things. We tried giving him different dry cat foods. All right. And out of all the ones we give him, if he doesn't have anything else to eat, he absolutely will eat what we give him. But he likes one particular one over all the others. And in particular, it's actually a higher grade cat food. And actually, we talked to the vet about it. And they're like, yeah, that's actually a good one to give him. Because that's one of the ones that's high protein and like none of the filler shit that a lot of the other ones have. You know, this isn't Friskies or something. It's one that's known to be a diet derived for an actual cat, not El Cheapo ingredients that makes your cat fat and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? As for the wet food, we buy it for him, we give it to him, he doesn't eat it. He'll just lick the sauce off of it. He will not eat the wet food. Even if we just leave wet food and no dry food, he won't eat it. He just leaves it there. So, like I said, what we do is we give him these treats that is like a mousse, a puree of ingredients. He'll eat those. He eats the treats. But he won't. But the treat, you don't want to give him a treat all the time. It's supposed to be a treat. You know, it's not supposed to be what you give him for his main food. So. So anyway, that's what's going on. It's frustrating. Okay? It is. It's very frustrating. And it's worrying. I don't like seeing Jasper in pain. In fact, what I will do is after the pre-stream ends, when I go on my break, I'm going to see if I can find him and see how he's doing. What I'm hoping is he'll just kind of pass out and zonk out and relax. Because the problem is the more he tries to pee and the more he grooms himself, the worse it gets. But he doesn't know that. He thinks, I need to go and I can't, so he's just going to keep trying, you know? Oh, we've tried all that, Mega Man. He says, are you trying just pate? Have you tried slices, chunks? We tried everything. Essentially, he will eat his dry food. He will lick sauce. So if you give him a broth, if you give him that kind of stuff, he'll lick any of the liquid in it. He will not eat the chunks. He will not eat the slices. He will not eat the pate. He's very picky about that. Like I said, we give him all these different treats. And, like, for example, you could give him those, you know, those Temptations treats. They're crunchy things with filling and stuff. Every once in a while, he'll eat one, but he won't eat a lot of them. The only treat he consistently will eat is these moose things that we give him. He's very picky. Very damn picky. Okay. So anyway, that's what's going on. So, obviously, guys, I'll keep you in the loop on how he's doing over the weekend. I know you guys care about him. You guys love Jasper. I love Jasper. You know, he's a cool part of the streams when he comes in and visits. But, sadly, he won't be able to be part of the streams this weekend. I can't have him coming in here and trying to use the bathroom all over the office and acting up because he doesn't feel good, you know. It sucks. Hopefully, you know, everything will go smoothly. Maybe he'll feel a little better over the weekend. I don't know. But hopefully things will go smoothly, and Tuesday I'll get him in there right away, and he'll get his medicine, and he'll be on a path to recovery. Okay? Oh, I just said I'm going to check on Jasper before I start playing. That's what I just said. I said we're going to finish pre-stream, I'll go on break, and I'll check on him and see how he's doing. I appreciate that, Golden Colts. He says, Jasper's in our prayers. I really appreciate that. And OIC said it too. Thank you, guys. I want him to feel better, man. Alright, so that's what's going on. It sucks ass. Let's get back to the realm of my streams and gaming stuff, alright? The big news today in the realm of gaming, alright? Halo Infinite will still release this fall. It's still on pace after being delayed an entire year, okay? The game is releasing this fall. However, it was announced that when it does release this fall, it will only contain single-player campaign and multiplayer. It will not have a cooperative gameplay mode at this time, nor will it have Forge mode, which a lot of people really like to do. Isn't that where you can set up like custom maps, custom things to like take on challenges with your friends and stuff? So they are adding those later. Okay, they are actually going to be doing co-op and Forge mode later, but they will not be part of the launch package of Halo Infinite. Okay, so this was announced yesterday on the internet, and this was 343, the game studio making the game, trying to be completely transparent with everyone. They didn't want people to be shocked when the game came out and didn't have all the features of a full-fledged retail game of Halo. Okay, the reaction on the internet is mixed, to say the least. Okay, allow me to explain both sides, and then let me give you my take, okay? One side is, wow, well, at least they're being transparent. This is good that they're being honest and not trying to do a bait and switch where we all think we're getting a full game and we're not. And the good news about it is that we are going to be getting some Halo. We are definitely getting the multiplayer, which is the major focus for a lot of people. You know, a lot of people think that the multiplayer is the reason why they bought Halo to begin with. So some people are like, at least we get single player campaign. That's cool. We'll still have the story. It just sucks that we can't play it with our friends, but it is what it is. All right. So some people are like, all right, better something than nothing, especially after a year's delay. We're fiending for Halo. We need a console exclusive that's like a big hitter. This will be it. So hopefully the multiplayer will be great and the single player will be good, and it is what it is. Okay? The other school of thought is like, I don't know if you could be more polarized and opposite of these people who were okay with it. These people are like, this is completely and utterly unacceptable. The game was delayed for a year. They thought they were going to release it last year. How are you telling us that a game that you thought you were going to release last year gets an extra year of development and still isn't ready to be released? Co-op is a core part of the Halo campaign experience, that people have been playing co-op Halo campaigns for many, many iterations and are incredibly upset they will not be able to experience the campaign with their friends. In fact, what's the point of having that? Why have the campaign at all, right? Why have the campaign at all? Because then you're basically spoiling the campaign. Essentially, the way people are saying it, let me rephrase. Because they're releasing the campaign single player only, all right? There are people who usually only play it multiplayer, co-op. But the problem is, people are going to play it single player and just spoil it all over the internet. So people who are like, man, usually when I buy a Halo game, I play it with my friends. We experience that story co-op together at launch. That's part of the core Halo gameplay experience. Because they're releasing the single-player campaign only, that campaign will be all over the internet, already known, and therefore I'm going to be forced to play it solo because I don't want to be spoiled and I want to experience it for myself. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's basically what it means. Like I understand that. If this is something that has always had this feature in a Halo game, and now all of a sudden you're saying this, now you're forcing me to experience the Halo game in a different way because you're not going to have this feature, I could definitely understand why that's upsetting. So some people are like, this is completely and utterly unacceptable. This is, you know, for a game that was in development this long, 6 years or whatever, and then on top of that, they delayed it a year, and now you're telling me it's still not ready? There's something wrong with 343 Industries. What kind of game dev is this? We want the co-op at launch. This is completely unacceptable, and I am absolutely upset. Okay? I'm upset. Very upset. Okay? And I understand why some people would be upset. I do. I totally understand why some people would be upset. But here's my line of thinking. All right? And you can completely disagree with me, and that's okay if you do. Because I'm not a super fan of Halo or anything like that. All right? I'm just someone who has played every major Halo game since Halo 3. As a content creator the last 13 years, I've enjoyed covering them and giving you my honest opinions and takes on them. So here's my take on this situation. Okay? I, at this point, would likely like something rather than nothing. And if, and only if, 343 Industries actually feels that the single-player campaign and the multiplayer are ready for release in the fall, if they feel that way, then I think this is acceptable. But why do I feel this is acceptable? I'll be honest with you. Because it's a Game Pass game. Okay? Because it's a Game Pass game. That's why it's acceptable. If you don't have people paying $70 for this game at launch, then they feel, these game developers are going to start doing things like this. They're going to feel, hey, we can give you the game piecemeal. We'll give you this piece on this day, this piece on this day, and we'll work on these other pieces that aren't done yet, and we'll give you those pieces later. Why? I'll tell you why, because you're not paying for it. You're going to get it under Game Pass. You're not paying anything additional. So to them, there's no transaction there in the expectation of a finished product. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you had to pay $70 for Halo Infinite and they told you, oh, only half the game is done at launch, then I would argue there is massive grounds for complaining here. That is ridiculous to expect you to pay full price for something that you're not getting the full product. But you're not if you're getting it under Game Pass. You see? And I feel that with Microsoft's pressuring them, saying, man, you told us you were going to have this ready last year. Here it is a year later. You better have something for us. Don't worry, it's under Game Pass. No one's going to complain because no one's buying it. You see? That's what I'm thinking is happening here behind the scenes of everything. Now, admittedly, people are used to getting a full Halo experience at launch, and this basically is showing you that moving forward, the Game Pass model may change things. Okay? We may have a lot of situations like this. If all these games are under Game Pass or a similar model, for example, I'll give you an example here that actually is going to work pretty well. The launch of Street Fighter V, okay? When Street Fighter V released in 2015, it was a massive flop. The reason it was a massive flop was because at launch the game didn't work at all. When at first they released it, there was no story-based mode at all. There was actually little to no offline gameplay of the game at all. It was essentially created to do just online competitive play, period. It didn't have optional modes or anything. It was just play it online. The problem with that was it didn't work at launch. The entire online game system of the game didn't work for weeks. It actually took them essentially 2 weeks to fix it so people could even play online, and it arguably took months until they solidified the experience to where it felt like you were actually getting what you paid for an online competitive fighting game, okay? But here's the thing. If Street Fighter V had been released under, say, Game Pass, then you could have argued, hey, man, you didn't pay anything for it, so we're going to just, put out these pieces of the game while we can. At first, you'll have multiplayer. If that doesn't work, let us know. We'll tweak it on the fly. By the way, behind the scenes, we're working on all these other modes. That'll be released later. And essentially, people's argument that the game isn't done actually kind of falls apart because you didn't pay for it. You didn't buy an outright game. You're just getting it as part of a subscription service, so you're just getting whatever's ready when it's ready. You see? So I would argue that if Street Fighter V had actually been released under a Game Pass-style subscription system, people wouldn't have had grounds to argue like they did, and probably the game wouldn't have been slammed like Street Fighter V was at launch for being unfinished. Alright? But with this situation, okay, what we're looking at here is a game that always has had these modes. Halo always has co-op campaign. Halo always has Forge mode. These are big pieces of the game that a lot of the community, the Halo community, come to expect from a new Halo outing. And the fact that these will not be available at launch for many months after launch could be very disheartening and very disappointing. And again, I actually think the argument that the campaign will basically be spoiled actually is a valid one. We all know that when a game comes out, that's a narrative-based game, anything that has an interesting plot that may have plot twists and spoilers, that plot is all over the internet within a day or two. We know that. Games get spoiled all the time. Even if you don't want to find out the plot of Halo Infinite, you're going to end up finding out what it is anyway. Like, it's almost unavoidable if you're part of a game community to stay away. People will be making jokes and references about it, so you're going to get spoiled no matter what happens. So to say, oh, I'm just not going to play the campaign until the co-op's added 4 months later, yeah, right. You know what I'm saying? Like, basically, you're being forced into playing that campaign single player if you don't want to be spoiled. And I can understand why someone would be upset about that. If they've always played it in co-op, and now you're basically being told, well, that experience is going to go away because they're not going to have it ready. Okay? So, for me, I see both sides of the fence. I do. However, my comment is as follows. Because it's under Game Pass, I think that's the only reason they're going to get away with this. But because it is under Game Pass, I think it is acceptable. If this game were being sold only outright for $70, then people could very validly be up in arms and saying, this is bullshit. You should not be doing this. This is unacceptable. You're ripping us off. But because it's under Game Pass and no one's going to be doing that, everyone's going to get it for their standard subscription fee, I feel like it's going to basically be accepted. Maybe some people upset about it. The biggest Halo fanboys out there may be very upset. But in general, the common public are going to be like, well, at least we got the meat of what we wanted. We wanted the multiplayer, that's available, and we wanted a campaign, and that's available. All the bells and whistles features will be just added later. Okay? However, I mean, I've got to be honest about something. I don't think that the campaign of Halo has ever been that good. Like, if you look back at the history of Halo, I mean, arguably, I guess people say the best campaign of Halo was Halo 2. Okay? Those campaigns are not very great, man. You could literally walk through 90% of a Halo game and never pull the trigger on your gun. And if you don't believe me, I dare you to try it. Because I've done it. I've jumped into these games and said, fuck this, and ran across the whole board. What am I fighting all these generic enemies for? Watch this. And you can run across the whole map and just get to the door you need to get in. The door closes, and you've beaten that part of the game without firing your weapon. That's how it's always been designed. Like, it's been like an on-rails kind of a deal where it's very linear. Now, there's been, don't get me wrong, there's been parts of Halo campaigns that are more open, okay? But in general, those campaigns are not greatly designed. I'm sorry. I mean, you can disagree, and that's okay if you do. Those campaigns, in my opinion, are not great campaigns at all. They're like any game that you can just walk through and not actually have to participate in the actual gameplay mechanics of the game. It's pretty bad, in my opinion. This is not a Telltale choose-your-own-adventure game. This is supposed to be a combat-oriented first-person shooter, and if you don't have to engage in combat to survive, that's a major problem and flaw with the game, right? By the way, I've done this as recently as Halo 5. Yes, even in Halo fucking 5, you could do this. So, this has always been a staple issue for the franchise. So, this sucks because I can't experience the campaign with my buddies. Your buddies? What did you need your buddies for? You could walk through the fucking game. You don't even need to shoot anything, right? Like, why did you need co-op buddies to beat the game? And of course, listen, I know, I'm just being facetious. I know what they're really saying is the game experience in a social setting is more fun. To share that gameplay experience and that story experience with your friends is more fun than doing it yourself. I know that's what they're saying. But my point is, this isn't like an essential argument. What you're arguing is that you can't have something that's optional to enhance your experience. The core experience is still there. You're a little bit angry that something that was optional to enhance that experience further is not there, but the core experience still exists. You see? So, I just feel like it's kind of a silly argument when we already, objectively, the campaigns of Halo aren't that great when it comes to how they're designed. So why people are so upset that they're not getting one aspect of a one way to experience the campaign when the campaigns have not been that good, you know. So, I mean, that's my take. And you can completely disagree, and that's okay if you do. Alright? The other piece of gaming news out there is that apparently there's teasers on the internet, even Jeff Keighley's doing it, that Saints Row is going to be redone, rebooted. Which would make sense because if you remember, Saints Row ended with Saints Row 4. Then they did a DLC that was kind of like over the top, and in my opinion, it was kind of excessively ridiculous. I didn't really like the DLC. What was it called? Gat Out of Hell. After that, the game makers made a different franchise called Agents of Mayhem that flopped huge. It ginormously flopped. It didn't sell at all. It was so different from what they had done with Saints Row. It was more of a generic third-person shooter where every character had like superpowers, but it failed miserably. I remember playing it and being bored to tears with it, and the audience was bored to tears with it. And so now it sounds like they are rebooting the franchise from the start. Like they're starting it over to basically try to establish it again as a gaming franchise. There's a lot of game franchises doing this. If you didn't hear, Dead Space is doing it right now, amongst a couple other games. So, not surprising. Much like in all other entertainment mediums like movies, music, and TV, they constantly reuse the same ideas over and over because of lack of originality. Personally, for me, I enjoyed the Saints Row franchise. My Saints Row 3 and 4 playthroughs were pretty entertaining back in the day on YouTube when it was a different landscape, let's be honest here, than it is today. If they reboot Saints Row and it ends up being like Saints Row 3 and 4 was, I don't know how well received it would be at this point, because again, we're talking like 10 years later, so I don't know how that would work, but I guess it just remains to be seen, right? We just got to see what happens. But, alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's do some shout-outs. We had a lot of stupid-ass trolls here on the stream that I could just completely ignore. But I do want to say thank you to Europe Gaming, who did a super chat this morning. And thank you to Tony XP. And he did a super chat asking about, does Jasper have litter boxes everywhere where he stays? Yes, he does. Jasper has multiple litter boxes in the house. So that way, no matter where he is, he's able to use the bathroom whenever he needs to. He has that freedom. He's not like, oh, he's confined in one area of the house and now he can't use the bathroom. No, because we knew, number one, that's for your cat's health. You need to have access to a litter box no matter where you are, number one. Number two, if you don't do that, the cat is going to tend to go, if it can't hold it, and it's going to tend to go somewhere bad. You know? So the last thing I would want is to wake up in the morning because Jasper's in the bedroom with us and the door's closed and he makes a big stinky dump in the middle of our floor, right? You don't want that. So, you know, that's why he has to have a litter box everywhere. In general, the rule of thumb for a cat is that you should have a number of litter boxes that's one more than the number of cats in your house. So if you have one cat, you should have 2 litter boxes. If you have 2 cats, you should have 3 litter boxes. If you have 3 cats, you should have 4 litter boxes, etc. Okay? That's how it works. Alright? Obsolete Boy has just done a super sticker of a banana. Alright, well thank you, Obsolete Boy. I appreciate the banana. I actually like bananas, so thank you for that. Now let's get to tips. We have 1 tip so far today. This one is from Tarantula MS 2018, who tipped me $5. Said, Phil, out of curiosity, when you say sledgehammer in your playthroughs, what inspired you to say it in a song-like type of way? Well, first of all, the Peter Gabriel song Sledgehammer, you gotta remember, I grew up in the 80s, alright? I remember all that music from back in the day like it was yesterday. Like, I can still hear it playing in my head. I wanna be your sledgehammer, dirt down. You know, I can hear the music, I can see the music video, because it's one crazy-ass music video. So whenever I sledgehammer, I immediately start thinking of Peter Gabriel. Okay? I don't particularly remember where it started. If I remember, wasn't there a sledgehammer in Left 4 Dead? You know, a decade ago? I think there was. If I'm remembering correctly, I think you could get a sledgehammer as a weapon and you could use it against the zombies or something like that. I think so. So, if I remember, I think that might have been where it started. Because remember, as a content creator, you got to think, where does the meme start? It probably started at the beginning. And what was the first game where I used a sledgehammer? It was probably Left 4 Dead, and probably was the first time I ever said it. Sledgehammer. Right? So, there you go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a break. Let's take about a 10-15 minute break. I'm going to check on Jasper. Hopefully he's calmed down and he's laying down relaxing somewhere. I hope. I hope he's not feeling terrible. But there's nothing, you know, right now, sadly, there's nothing I can do about it. I'll use the restroom. You guys, grab a drink, grab a snack. Use the restroom yourselves. When we come back, it is the continuation of 12 minutes. Like I said, I've got a couple ideas of things to try out today. I don't know if they'll pan out or not. But all we can do is try and go from there, right? And see what we can discover. So thank you for being patient. Thank you for enjoying the pre-stream. I will see you all in just a bit. Thanks.